Okay, so this is Jack, and first of all, I have to apologize for the delay in this Facebook Live. As you know, it's supposed to be 9 o'clock, and the reason why I couldn't do it earlier is not because of anything, it's again because of something called technology. So I'm not sure whether this happens to me because what happened was that I got some problem with Zoom. Like last week, I was actually using Zoom to stream Facebook Live, but somehow just now I was working on about 10 minutes. Somehow I couldn't stream Facebook Live using Zoom. So is that a technical problem or Facebook decided to block uh, people using Zoom to do Facebook Live? I'm not so sure. But having said that, the good news is that I'm able to use another media. So that's the reason why yesterday on my Facebook I post something. Hey, good morning to you. Good evening to you. Good to see you. Okay, so that's the thing. So I said yesterday I post something. I put questions on my Facebook wall. I asked the question, Facebook Messenger Room FBR versus Zoom. Like people thought that Zoom is the best. Zoom actually provides the technology, the privacy, the security. Like last month, people were so concerned about the Zoom technology, the infrastructure, and the security. Like now, people are not afraid. It's very interesting. People's perception has changed. So I posed this question: like, do you prefer Zoom over Facebook Messenger Room, correct? FBR. So the reason I asked this question exactly I pointed out tonight. What if Zoom doesn't work? What if you need to do something but Zoom technology does not work? What are you going to do? So that's why I'm constantly looking for other things. Like some people actually use StreamYard. It's another tool that I know, but I choose not to use that first. I'm still very comfortable with Ecamm. So when I run Facebook Live, at least I know 5 ways to run Facebook Live. So one way, which is Zoom, which I can actually draw on my notepad and to do a lot of like interaction and engagement. I could have done that. But what if the Zoom technology tonight, like what I'm experiencing right now, what if the technology doesn't work? And you promise people that you're going to do a Facebook Live, aren't you going to show up? That's the question. So which is the reason why when Facebook Room Messenger is ready, is rolled out to Singapore, I'll be one of those earliest one to see what it is about and whether I can apply this in my Facebook Live. So one thing I learned about this business is you've got to constantly adapt to the changing environment, because I know one fine day Zoom may not be able to stream to Facebook because Facebook now have Facebook Room Messenger. Do you think you will allow Zoom to zoom in because Zoom is a competitor? So just think about it. There's a reason why I asked the question last night. It's not about, oh, I like this, I like that. It's not. You have to think about 3, 4, 5 steps ahead, because you never know whether Facebook will block other form of streaming. So that Facebook said you guys can only do Facebook Live using Facebook Live Producer. Maybe Ecamm may not be allowed to be used in future. I don't know. So Facebook Live Producer, which means Facebook is gone. At the same time, you've also got something called Facebook Room Facebook. Okay, I still have to pronounce it properly. Facebook Messenger Room. Okay, so therefore you've got to understand what is working for you, what is not working. Okay, so back to my Facebook tonight. Hi James, nice to see you. So this is a bit challenging because I'm using Ecamm, so it means that I need to open up my chat box to see who is watching. So James is here. Okay, hello, and then you have Ite. Hi, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. So let me see. I don't expect a lot of people are watching this tonight. The thing is this. Oh, hi, Robert from Philippines. Thank you for watching. Okay, so this is the thing. Tonight I'm going to talk about 3 mistakes the entrepreneurs make when creating their pitches and presentation. Now, my specialism is not so much about creating a business or actually how business owners to scale the business to the next level in a general sense. I like to actually train business owners, because how many of you realize that as a business owner, your voice is your personality. You've got to pitch, you've got to show face to your prospects, to your customers. So do you realize that even though you don't like it, when your company is represented by you as a founder, for example. Do you realize that you still have to project your voice to the prospect so that your message can be heard, can be seen, right? Oh, okay, hi, from Sri Lanka. Awesome. Wow, we got people from Sri Lanka. Thank you, James. Thank you very much. Okay, so the thing is this, I want to talk about a very special focus on creating pictures and presentations, because I do help a lot of speakers, trainers, facilitators to articulate the message, to tell the story in such a way that people can feel the emotional connection, and most importantly, at the end of the day, as you and I know, you've got to make an irresistible offer so that people can embrace, can continue with you, okay? So I was working with a group of people recently, like over the last 3 months, I have done 2 virtual previews. So I've done actually virtual previews as well, but I didn't broadcast it because all my previews are quite closed. It's a closed group. And I have done also prior to the circuit breaker. So for some people who do not know, Singapore does not use the term called lockdown. We choose to use the term circuit breaker, CB. So before CB, I have done 3 live previews. So with that, with 2 other previews, so I've done 5 over the last 3 months. And I realized one thing, the biggest mistake, the number one mistake is about, like I say 3 mistakes, right? The first mistake is some people actually still don't know who they are serving. It's like this is a very, very key thing I believe most people will have told you. Principle in marketing is that you've got to know who you serve. Because you can have very awesome product and service, but you pitch to the wrong group of people. So let me give you a very classic example. You could have awesome service to people who are, let's say your business is in F&B, like classic example. You have an awesome recipe to teach people how to cook steak, juicy steak, awesome. Like I like steak. Like just a couple of days ago, I was able to order delivery of steak, which I have missed since the lockdown. Like I wasn't able to go out to have steak, so that was a very yummy too. Like it will work for me because I eat steak. But what if your audiences do not eat steak? What if your audiences are vegan or vegetarians? So the question is that if you do not know who you serve, you just set up a business hoping to serve other people, have your product, your service or experience to create and share and help other people. But if you cannot figure out who you are serving, it doesn't work. So 3 nights ago, I actually ran another Facebook Live, and I said that even though you are talking to people, like I know my customers. So for example, let's say you are serving a group of entrepreneurs, for example, like your business is helping other entrepreneurs. You see that itself can also be an issue. Let me give you an elaboration here. So let's say you are helping entrepreneurs. So okay, so who are you talking to? Like, do you talk about your S entrepreneur or the B entrepreneur? Like you realize that for entrepreneurs, there are different types of entrepreneurs. There are freelancers, and they call themselves entrepreneurs. And there are real business owners who run big teams, big companies, big groups. They are entrepreneurs. So if you just say, oh, I'm here to help entrepreneurs, that doesn't work. Why? Because what happens is that the SS entrepreneur, the self-employed entrepreneur, the freelancer, their problems may not be the same as the problems of the business entrepreneurs. So the thing that you have to ask yourself is that even though you said your business is to help customers or help entrepreneurs, you've got to know exactly who you are talking to. Because if you cannot get narrow, you cannot have a specific focus. So you can see that the way I structure my Facebook Live tonight is that even though I'm talking to entrepreneurs, my special focus is about people who need to project their voice, get the message out to the people, so that I focus on this specific problem whereby even though you're as entrepreneur or be entrepreneur, you have the challenge of creating an awesome presentation or pitch so that your product and services can be transferred with valuable exchange with your customers, with your clients. So that my job is to help you to get this passed, get past with this so that you know, as well as I do, hi Daniel, nice to see you. How is your country going? All right. So So the question is that you got to know who you serve, and by asking the question who you serve, you will also know what are the specific challenges. Like I gave this example a few nights ago. So let's say you are serving the self-employed entrepreneurs, the freelancers. So you tell them that, okay, all entrepreneurs have to scale, has to have their championship team. Do you think the self-employed entrepreneur would love to hear that? First of all, right now in COVID-19, survival is the key. They don't even think about what will happen in their business. Their focus is all about survival. They don't have the cash. Like I post something about the Malaysian situation. I don't know whether there's any Malaysian watching right now. Do you know that your country, the projection is that most 37.8% of the small medium enterprises will run out of the cash by the end of this month. So to them, cash is really the key thing. Like cash is king is the term that we use in the olden days, but right now cash is really the key. Like if you cannot survive, let's not talk about thriving a business. Let's not talk about growing a business to the next level. Let's not even dream of going for IPO. Like this is not the thing that we are talking about right now. So this is to me very, very important. You've got to know who you are serving. So once you know who you serve, then you can pinpoint or nail down the problem. Give you another example. So let's say I'm training speakers. Okay, I'm training speakers because I love to train them. So my who is speakers. But the question is this, who do you actually serve? What types of speakers do you serve? So for example, if you are training people who are only looking for being an awesome speaker on stage so that they can share the story. They don't want to make any sale. At most, they are just doing keynote speaking, which means that after the speech, they will get paid with the fee. So they are paid to speak. And they do not have any other product or services. They just want to get a speaker's fee. Like how many of you realize that there are speakers who are like that? Correct? So therefore, all you need is, okay, how do I help you work on your speech so that you can get more gigs? You have more companies or more organizations asking you to do it. How do you create a channel for referral marketing? How do you collect testimonials? So these are the questions for a paid speaker who just do keynotes. That's it. But let's say you are talking to platform closers. Okay, people who are speaking on platform, after the pitch, they are making an offer, send people to the back of the room or to the front of the room or to wherever the room is. So the question is that they are not just looking at the awesome stories. They also have to work on the offer. Because if your offer is not clear, the reason why people do not buy is not because they don't trust you. It's because they don't understand what you're offering. Your offer, you have not explained the value proposition. When they can't see the value, they cannot give you the exchange. So therefore, working on your offer is a very critical issue for a platform closer. So this example is to demonstrate that even you are talking about speaker as a group, different speakers have different issues. Corporate speakers, corporate trainers, for example, what is the problem of the corporate trainers right now? Think about this. The corporate trainers, no company wants to hire them now because the companies all shut down. Like non-essential services literally are not allowed to be open in Singapore. In fact, some essential services have been asked to close down in Singapore last week. So do you think the companies bother getting corporate trainings from corporate trainers right now? May not be the key. So corporate trainers are running out of events, gigs, training contract. They cannot get any live events, so what do? So therefore, the only thing they can do is to continue doing the training, but they have to be open their mind. It is a personal development issue. They need to learn the technology so that they are able to put their training online. Not run a webinar, by the way. I have to emphasize one more thing. It's not about a webinar, because a webinar is a low ticket item. They have to run the event live virtually. So let me give you an example. In 2 days' time, Singapore, April 28 and 29, I will be running an advanced goods and services tax training for Institute of Singapore Chartered Accountants. It's a 2-day event. Okay, it's not a webinar. It's a 2-day, full-day event from 9 to 5 o'clock. And I'll be teaching goods and services tax to some accountants in Singapore. But Jack, where do you do it? Because you are not allowed to do live events. I'm doing this via Zoom, virtual. So therefore, I'm doing this. The reason why I'm still able to run training is because I know and I've cracked the code of how to put my events virtually. So if you do not know how to do that, you will not have such opportunity. The fact is that when you are open, when your mind is open, there will be possibility elsewhere coming to you. Okay? So therefore, mistake number one is you need to know who you serve. Okay? Mistake number two. So this one I do not want to drag so long. I just want to run about 30 minutes. So mistake number two is the same presentation. What do I mean by that? Regardless of who you talk to, whether you know who you talk to or not, you are just giving the same presentation. So this is what I learned. This is what I learned in my 5 previews that I've done in the last 3 months. Every single preview is different. Every single preview is different. Not the content, but the context. The way I deliver is completely different. Why? Because different times, we have different people in the room. So when you make a presentation and make the pitch, you've got to understand that while you might be speaking the same thing, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, but the way you communicate has to be understood by your audiences. And as you all know, different audiences have, number one, different learning preferences. So do you employ visual aid, such as my index card? I don't have my whiteboard tonight, so what did I do? The reason why I was a bit late is that I need to quickly draw up my flip chart because I need to show you the visual aid. Okay, so some of the learners are visual learners. They need to see a picture, see some words, not just auditory, which is the spoken word. Like in this Facebook Live, normally I couldn't do kinesthetic. I cannot have any kinesthetic thing because I can't ask you to feel, okay? I cannot touch you. So what I do is that I will just focus on visual and auditory. So I will do my index cards to make sure that I have the visual aid here. At the same time, I will speak the way I have to. And have I not pre-framed you that this morning there will be a Facebook Live, although I started late, I understand. I gave you sufficient time notice so that you know at 9 o'clock you will have a Facebook Live coming from Singapore, coming from me. Okay? So what I'm saying is that I pre-frame and because I respect different people with different learning preferences. Number two, there are also different groups of people when they make the decision, when they act on what you say based on your speed. So you can see that I speak a bit faster because on Facebook Live, typically I attract people who are action personality. In terms of Banco, this is typically what I attract. Why? Don't forget, we are talking to business owners, entrepreneurs. Like imagine you are a blueprint personality, you are knowledge personality. I don't see that you'll be an entrepreneur unless you have opened up your mind, unless you have adapted to your behavior. Welcome to the entrepreneurship world. Like typically in the entrepreneurship world, it's dominated by the action personality and the nurturing personality, which is the reason why I got to speak a bit faster. Otherwise, if I speak in the way that I usually do, which is my natural self, some of you will be bored to death. Some of you will not want to watch. Some of you will not even bother talking to me. Does that make sense? So the second thing that I notice is that you can't have the same presentation, not to say that it's the same content. It should be the same content, but the way you deliver has to be very different from other people. See, Joe A.N. Thank you, Joe. Good morning to you. Thank you for watching. So you see that I need to speed up, and because for actions and nurturing personality, they want, like action personality especially, they need the information. Like if you tell them, okay, 3 mistakes, what are these 3 mistakes? So you can see that I flashed the first one already is who do you serve? Number 2 is you can't have the same presentation in terms of the way you deliver. So I get them, okay, I get them in already. So they are waiting for the third one. I got to speed up, otherwise they will be bored. They wouldn't just want to leave the Facebook Live. Okay, so the thing is that you've got to speak to different group of people at different time based on who you have in the room. Like some people, they can't wait, they're impatient, they need to get the information fast. Some of them, they will say, let me think about it. Let me feel what you are saying. Let me just connect to myself. So the speed of consumption is different. So therefore, you've got to understand that sometimes you'll be fast, sometimes you've got to be slow, sometimes you need to explain the processes. so that some people will get this. It's all can be explained in terms of Banco, by the way. Like, give you an example, like action personality, they need fast information, they cannot wait, they're impatient, they just want to get it and get out. Get it and get out. Okay? So the knowledge personality, they will say that, okay, I don't care what you just said. Can you show me the details of what you have just talked about? Let me consume the details. I don't need to talk about it. Let me go through myself. I'm okay. I'm cool. The blueprint personality will say that, can you just show me 1, 2, 3, A, B, C? I want to see from point A to point B. And when I see the process, when I see the structure, I will know what you're talking about. And the nurturing personality basically will say that, that's good. Thank you for sharing with this. Thank you for sharing this information with me. Let me see how I can use the information to help other people. They all come with different objectives. So imagine if you have a room which is blueprint dominated. So tonight, the way I speak will lose them because I'm speaking too fast. But as I said on Facebook Live, I'm attracting a lot of A's and N's. So I do have to speak a bit faster. Otherwise, they will fall asleep. They will just shut down. They will just lock out. Does that make sense? So mistake number 2 is really about sharing your presentation, same one, but not delivered the same way. Like I said, in these 2 virtual previews that I did just last few days, the first one and the second one are completely different. Why? Because what happened is this. The first one, I've got a lot of people who are action and nurturing. The second one, I've got blueprint and knowledge in the room. So what I did was I just tweaked the whole thing, tweaked my whole presentation so that when I know that the action and nurturings are in the room, I speak fast, I make them feel, I focus on them. Whereas for blueprint and knowledge, what I did on the second preview, what I did was basically I set the details. I don't mind repeating myself many times. And most importantly, I draw boxes, show them point A, point B, point C, point D, point E, so on and so forth. Does that make sense? So therefore, you cannot just you make your presentation, present in the same way again and again and again, and even the way you deliver is the same. You will lose some people in the room. So this is the reason why, to me, it is slightly important. And Joe just made a comment. What's the bottom line so that I can move on to something else? See, already bottom line. They can't wait. But that is being action personality, and thank you for that. Okay, mistake number 3, not clear with your offer. So at the end of the day, after you make a presentation, what is the objective? What is the outcome? What's the bottom line? You do not want to just make a presentation and ask your prospect. So thank you for your presentation. I hope you enjoy this. I hope that you come back to me. I hope that you will understand where I'm coming from. I hope the price is okay. I look forward to getting a yes from you, and I hope to hear from you very soon. I hope. Do you do that? The reason why all the hopes are there is when you present, you've got to have the end in mind. What is the offer? If you are not clear with what you offer, what is the outcome, what is the call to action, you can just mumbo jumbo all the way, and at the end you just have all these hopes. Because when you're not clear, you need some words to fill, and the easiest things to say is I hope this, I hope that, I wish this, I wish that. So that's what can happen. So all I'm saying is that you got to be very clear with your outcome. So when your offer, after you're done with presentation, what do you want the prospect? What do you want your listeners to do? Do you want them to sign a document? Do you want them to come back to you with a specific time? Or do you think they have any questions you have to handle it on the spot? Or do you have any brochures or catalogs for some people to consume? Do you have anything in written? Like, do you have a contract? Do you have an order form? All these you need to factor in, because you cannot just present and go. Because that is not presentation. That's not what presentation is about. Does that make sense? So all I'm saying is that it is very important for you to be absolutely clear with what you're offering. Okay? Because if you don't, that's the problem. Okay, so these are the 3 biggest mistakes that I know for entrepreneurs when you're making your presentation and your pitches. Okay, so just summarize one more time. Mistake number one is some people are not clear who they serve. And I want you to go deeper, narrow down. Okay, narrow down. Because You cannot just serve speakers. You cannot just serve entrepreneurs. You cannot just serve business owners. Exactly what type? Because different segment of your market has different issues. Okay, with that, you go to the second one, realize that you have to understand the audience's modality and learning preferences so that you will deliver your presentation based on what they prefer. Let your prospect determine your presentation. It's always the principle that I teach my students. You do not use your way, you use their way. But Jack, how do I know their way? I don't know. Like how do I figure out? Do I actually ask them, so what is your banco? What is your personality? Like, do you prefer visual? Do you prefer auditory? No, you don't need to do that. You can actually do something called giving them a link. So for example, we have BandPass, one of our lead generation and CRM tool. So before the previews, I get my partner to send the link out, ask them to crack the code so that I got the information beforehand. As a trainer, you've got to do this. You cannot just wait for them to come and spend 1 whole hour talking to them just to figure out the modality preferences. This is a waste of time and it's not productive. So a smarter person, a smarter presenter will have done this by sending the link out and ask the person, I need to crack your code so that I know how I should present, how I should present so that you can understand. Does that make sense? So therefore, it's not about working hard. It's actually working smart. This is the virtual world. Like, you do not see your client physically now. So you have every right to send a link and ask them, can you please help me, do me a favor so that I know how I can connect with you and give and customize the presentation. So this is the key. The word is so that I can customize the presentation to understand what you need. Does that make sense? So therefore, you have every right now to make a request for your prospects, for your listeners to do it. But Jack, what if they don't? What if they don't do it? Because some of them don't read emails. Come on, man. There's something called follow-up. After you have sent the link, did you have any systems? Do you have any procedures to follow up with them before your presentation? So I haven't noticed that you have done it. Have you got any chance to do it within the next 24 hours? Have you done the follow-up? Have you reminded them? If you don't, it's your fault, not their fault. Like, Jack, but they still do not do it. How? Well, then what you need to do is, okay, I believe there will always be a handful of people who do not do it. So if you have these cards, get your cards ready. Get your cards ready, because this will be the last resort. Yes, this is the last resort, and I don't prefer this nowadays. But the fact is that if you don't have any opportunity to meet them, you cannot even ask them to sort the card. So my point is that if you are forced to run virtual events right now, which is a good thing actually, you just need to make sure that they do this beforehand. Or if not, then during the presentation, spend just a little bit of time at the beginning to pre-frame, set the context, send the link out, get them do it immediately, like as fast as possible. Again, if you think that it is possible, it will be possible. If you think that it's not possible, it will always be not possible. Does that make sense? So this is the science of doing a live events virtually right now. Okay, so the next thing you ask is that, Jack, I'm still very confused with who I'm talking to, because in the first place, I have just started my business. I do not know exactly how to identify this person. Like who is my ideal prospect? Like, is that a question that you have? If you do, all I need you to do is do one very simple thing. Who are your ideal clients? But I haven't thought about this before. Because like in my business, I'm actually serving everyone. Like I'm happy to serve all the speakers. I'm happy to serve all the entrepreneurs. Like if you use the word all, it means nothing, nobody. So you can't just serve all entrepreneurs. So for me, I don't serve big customers nowadays. Like I used to do in my corporate world, I used to serve listed companies. I used to serve big clients, the S&P 500, the big companies. Like right now, I don't. I typically focus on small and medium enterprises because of my scale of my businesses right now and my preference, because Their problems are very challenging, and yet I enjoy taking up all these challenges. So all I'm saying is that you've got to understand who are your ideal clients. So my students actually spend a whole freaking weekend working on this. And how about you? Are you willing to spend some time during this week to work on this? Like, where are they from? What are their businesses about? Exactly who do they serve? What are the problems? So once you understand a narrow scope of who these people are, you will then be able to identify their problems, the challenges, and the pains. If you say that, but I still don't know how, so let me ask you this question. Have you recently talked to them? Over the last 3 months during the lockdown, have you talked to any of such people? You have existing clients, you can ask the question, well, we have not talked to each other for a while, just happened out of curiosity. Like, do you experience any challenge in your business right now? And if so, what are these challenges? You can ask a question. Always ask questions so that you figure out what are the pain points right now. But you do not sell, you don't pitch, you don't sell. Okay, this is really research. You don't pitch, you don't sell. All you do is just to use a pen or notepad or recording device, just record what they say. You take the information, go back, and then put it on drawing board to identify whether you will be the one being able to solve these problems, or do you know someone, if you cannot solve this problem, do you know someone who can help these people? Okay, so this is about doing research. Like, this is a very good time, again, like, you don't have any excuses of go out and meet clients now. You'll be stuck at home. I'm sorry, I'm talking to people from Singapore and people talking in Malaysia. I know Australia. If you are Australia, I know you can still go out. If you are in United States, like, depends on which states, you can still go out. But in Singapore, we are not allowed to go out. Just for my Facebook friends' information, in Singapore, if I go out and if I go out not for essential services, it is 300 Singaporean dollars fine first time, and then second time is 1,000 Singaporean dollars for just go out who has no purposes. Singapore is a fine city. It's very famous in the world. $300 first time, $1,000 second time. How many of you can imagine that you go out for some unknown purposes, you have to pay the fine immediately? This is Singapore, by the way. So all I'm saying is that do research to find out what the problems are, your existing clients. Like, I've got a questions from, like, somebody posed a question this morning. Like, do you prefer me call you by phone? Do you prefer me to contact you by WhatsApp? Or do you like me to do a Zoom call with you? I say, this is a very weird question. Why? When it's weird, it's because you could have asked your existing clients already. Like, just check during this lockdown period. I cannot go out and meet you as usual. Like, what is your preferred communication mode? Is it okay if I send you a WhatsApp text? Or is that okay if I send you a WhatsApp audio? Or would you prefer me send you an email instead? Like, thing is that this is the time where you can ask a lot of questions and they feel obliged to reply to you. You have no excuses not to ask questions. Like, if you have very, very thin skin, you hate to meet people, ask questions, that this is time to train you to become thick skin. Does that make sense? You got to be very thick skin. So I said already, when you make a presentation, you got to know possibly their learning modality, their preferences, so that you can deliver the presentation based on what they want to hear. It's not manipulation, by the way, because if you remember, I said many times, if you have been following me, as long as your presentation comes with positive intention, there's never a single second called manipulation. Manipulation is when you do something, force your audiences to do something, okay, unethically, with bad intention or ill intention. So that is manipulation. When you are genuinely helping your prospects or buyers to make the buying decision, you just deliver your presentation based on what they can hear, they can consume, or they can absorb. There's never a manipulation. Does that make sense? Okay, so the other question I have is that, but in this lockdown period, I am not I'm not very sure. Like what can I do in order to create more pictures, more presentation? Like, I got stuck. I got a lot of what we call the self-doubts. I've got limiting beliefs. Like I have a limiting belief just, what time is it? Like just an hour ago, I say, shit, I cannot Zoom my Facebook Live using Zoom. I have to use Ecamm tonight. What if really Facebook does not allow Zoom to stream Facebook anymore? So I have that little voice quite loud, but I managed to overcome that. I managed to use Ecamm as an alternative. That's why I can still run this Facebook Live tonight, right? So some people actually said that I feel very constrained and restrained because during lockdown I couldn't go out as usual. I'm so looking forward to meeting my clients. I'm so looking forward to talking to them physically. And you know what? My business was suffered because I used to go out to meet people to make sales. I can't. And then some people actually told me that their business suffered a lot because they are doing the live events. They are not actually able to do live events right now because of our lockdown situation. So the question is that you've got something happening between two things. One is your personal development, we call the PD, which is basically your literal voice. On the other side, it is your business development, your BD. Okay? So here comes something that I would like you to think about this. The reason why everyone, I got a question from one of my students this morning, do you need a mentor? It's a very interesting question. Like all out of the blue, she asked me whether she needs a mentor. So do you know my answer? Like, do you have a mentor in your life? Do you have a coach in your life? So the question is that what's the difference between a coach and a mentor? So let me give you my definition. A mentor is somebody either you know or you don't know. And by the way, it doesn't matter whether your mentor knows you or not. Like mentor could well be somebody you know or you don't know. I mean, you don't know personally, but you kind of heard of his name or her name. So a mentor has something you can look upon, whereby you can model, you can adapt, you can learn something from that person. So for example, I learned from Donald Trump, United States President right now, many years ago, since 2004 and 5, during Apprentice time, the reality TV show, where what I learned from Donald Trump is one thing called contingency plan. It's like in my business, I know that I need to constantly have contingency plan. Some of the people would say, well, you do not make so many contingency. Why? Because to make so many contingency, that would be the consequence. But tonight, if I do not have a contingency plan, I will not be even speaking to you. Because my contingency is that if Zoom fails, which happened tonight, I have Ecamm as a backup. And if let's say Ecamm doesn't work, I still have OBS as my third choice. If my OBS doesn't work, then I will just run Facebook Live Producer tonight. I have all the contingency plan. I'm ready for all contingency plan to be activated. Does that make sense? Why? Because I learned from Donald Trump the things about contingency plan. So you do not put everything in one set. Like, okay, I only know how to do Facebook Live on Zoom. So tonight, if you just know how to use Zoom to run your Facebook Live, tonight you won't be talking to me anymore. Okay? So this is the first thing. What is the difference between a mentor and a coach? A coach doesn't need to know your answer. That does not need to give you the answer. The biggest thing that we say about coach and consultant, like I came from the world of business consulting and tax consulting. People pay me premium dollars because I have answer that they need immediately. So all I say is an answer. This is what the law said. So go and implement accordingly. And people pay because of these advices. So this is consultant. But for coaches, the technique is not about getting or giving the answer. Your clients, your coaches have questions. All you need to do is to help them clarify, open their mind, and you by way of asking different questions. So if you are receiving one question from your coachee, all you need to do is just to redirect the question and throw it back to the person. So this is called the art and science of redirection. As a coach, you got to be very, very skillful with listening here, because you need to catch what they say, what words do they use, and then throw it back to them by way of redirecting the question, so that they will be able to get the answer by themselves. There's something that you need to know from neurology. when a person asks a question, the person has already got the answer. Why? They just need some clarity to get the answer by asking the question. So how many of you realize that if you can ask good questions, you may get the answers by yourself? Have you experienced that before? This is precisely why coaching works. Because you can't see as a client, let's say you are working with a coach, you cannot see the label when you are inside the jar. Whereas the coach is able to see the label because your coach is actually outside the jar. And that's all we call the blind spot. So sometimes in your business, in your personal life, when you have little voice, you are stuck, you cannot grow, you cannot solve a problem. It's not because you can't. It's just that at that point in time, you need additional resources, which is the reason why in our world, we heavily believe that you need coaches. Do I have coaches? Of course, I have coaches. I got coaches coming and scold me like hell. F, in other words. But I'm not going to say the F word tonight because it's not my teaching tonight. All I'm saying is that you've got to understand that a coach can actually help you to look at the little voices, help you deal with these little voices, not to remove them or get them out, but at least help you understand these little voices are there for a reason. And all you need to do is to understand the intention of these little voices, do something to work on these little voices so that they are not so loud that prevent you from taking action. How about your businesses? Do you know what are your biggest challenge in your business right now? Do you know? So for example, some people said, I still have challenge of generating leads. I still have challenge of closing sales. Like these are very standard questions I get every single day. But some of you may ask like, okay, I do not know which customer to serve. Like who should I serve right now? Because I want to serve customers with money. But you know what? I always attract these people who have no money to me, who has no money to spend. Well, the fact is that there are always people who are willing to spend. When they see the value, they will spend the money. There are still people who embrace my processes. During this time, I'm going to start my speakers group next month because there are people who embrace the processes. They are still able to come up with the money to pay. Does that make sense? So do not project your value on your audiences, thinking that because you do not want to spend, they will not want to spend. Because if you think that way, they will not spend for sure. Because you will attract people who are like you. Okay? So one thing that I learned about your businesses is that you've got to identify some strategies. You've got to identify some tactics. And if you can solve if you can solve all the strategy issue or the tactical issue, then there won't be any issue anymore. The fact that they remain there is because you don't know what you don't know. Maybe you are stuck. Maybe you do not see a different perspective of the issue that you are facing, which is the reason why to me, a coach is very important. Like you want to have someone who can help you on little voice. Want to have someone who can give you some ideas of your business strategies and tactical measures. Okay? So coming back to what we said, and by the way, with just 2 more days before we end our offer. Now, some of you have asked me to give you a session 4 masterclass recording. So I'm talking about the Banco masterclass. So it's already over. Like some of you feel sad about the masterclass being over. I mean, well, that's it. It's 4 weeks, by the way. So all I said is that for those who have watched 4 weeks masterclass, congratulations. I hope that you really learn a lot. Okay, so like I said last week on Facebook Live, there's currently a coaching program that our corporate team decided to offer so that people after the 4 weeks classes, they can still get some form of coaching in terms of 90 minutes a week for 6 weeks so that you can work on your business, you can work on personal development. So we cover 6 aspects of intelligences. So therefore, it is an awesome thing for you to work with the 4 key figures in our corporate team: Sherry, Esther, Craig, and Jason. Okay. So I just want to highlight the fact that if you seriously want to have someone who are outside the jar, can see the label, so that you know what you need to do to deal with your intelligences, to get more leads, to feel to be more to have a high EQ, to have more data statistics to back up what you have in your business so that you can improve, this is the time. And by the way, the coaching program is going to be full. I was told yesterday by the corporate team that after the 30th of April, there's actually the next class will be sometime in June or July. So if you can wait, of course you can wait. But for me, I always said to people, why would you want to wait? Like if you can get your business fixed, if you can get your literal voice, get some help on your literal voice, why would you want to wait? Is that because of the fear? Is that because you are not so sure? So the fact is this, if you are not so sure, you have been not so sure for a long time. So you can just continue to be not so sure. Does that make sense? So all I'm saying is that you've got to understand, if you need help, you just need to get help. You do not wait. Because the differences between you making the decision today, or before the deadline by the way, and versus a few months later, is that you may be able to see a transformation in your business right now. Like I've got people, like this is a very interesting story. I got someone from Malaysia, and she sat in my Banco training class in Kuala Lumpur, the same class, the 2-day class. During that class, I was offered to be a trainer. So a lot of people actually decided to become a trainer, and then I was one of them. And I've got peers who didn't make that decision on the spot. It's only after how many years? 7 years. So today, after the masterclass, she said that I'm in. Okay? So the person has to wait 7 years to say I'm in. And then the amount of fees that she has to invest is above and beyond what I invested in 2013. Because I was the first batch in Asia. The amount of investments versus the amount of investments that you have to make you have to incur right now, of course, is very different. We talk about 7 years. Not only that, bear in mind that the cost of not doing this for 7 years, you work out the math. Is that painful? So what I'm saying is that when a coaching program is offered, if you decide to take it, all you need to understand is that you have to put all your effort, go all in, so that you see the result. And there are people who are always looking for the other thing. Like after the 4-week masterclass, okay, we've got other things like online right now. You see so many, we call it the multiple speakers events, one after one, like one from Singapore, one from Malaysia. Like, let me show you how to invest in the stock market. Let me show you how to invest in cryptocurrency. Let me show you the way to make money by creating passive income, doing drop shipping, doing e-commerce. Like, there's so many courses like that online. Like we talk about all these all the time. I'm not saying that these are bad things. Like you got to decide what you want in your life. So when you're running a business, when your business is struggling, it's not about you now. It's about who are working under you. And if you are not fixing a business, you are not being responsible for your people, for people who are working with you or under you. So you have to take some sort of responsibility rather than you say, I quit. By saying that I quit as a business owner, the effect of that is you are creating more unemployment to your country. So are you responsible for that? My question. Okay? So all I'm saying is that if you're running businesses, if you're genuinely suffering or the business is not working for you, you've got to get somebody to fix it, to help you fix it. And the first person who is willing to say, yes, I want to get help, it will be you. So therefore, all I'm saying is that I'm not going to pitch you tonight. I'm just, for the very last time, I'll say that this offer about our bank intelligence operating system coaching, iOS coaching, the offer will be valid until 30th of April. After this, they may not want to do it at the current offer price. And if you do not do it, if you decide to wait, that may be my peer's story where she has to wait for 7 years in order to come back and say, I'm in now, I'm in bank now. 7 years. It's very painful. But That's her decision, because she made that decision to say no in 2013. Imagine if she say yes, what would be the life be? What would the life be? Okay? So I'm not going to say any further thing. I'm just saying that when opportunity is there, you've got to decide whether it's for you. If not, that's fine. As I always said, if you decide that's not for you, all good. You can still look for other things to do. But if you see that you are responsible for your business, for your people who have been working with you or under you, you've got to understand that you are not going to create unemployment for the country. You've got to fix your business. Get experts to help you. Get them in so that your business can turn around, and then you are actually saving more lives that way. And there will always be fear of doing something. I understand, because I don't know what I'm going to eat tomorrow as well. But isn't it true that in business, you are running a business because you are willing to take some form of risk to start with? So that's why, to me, you already have accepted the name of the game, that is RISK, risk. Some people said, but I'm not so sure what the coaching program is about. Well, just believe the process. By the time you get out over the 6 weeks, you'll be a better version of yourself, because when you decide to work on yourself, work on what you have right now, moving baby steps from point A to A2, A3, A4, A5. Remember last week I said this is a point A coaching. This is a point A coaching, which means that you're moving forward from your present state slowly, steadily, one time at one by one. Okay? So therefore, all I'm saying is this: do it when your heart, when your gut, when your intuition say that you want. When you say yes, just remember, look forward, don't look back, and you'll be okay. So myself, I'm actually going for the coaching program. I'm going to be certified, okay, as a trainer. I'm going to be certified as a coach as well. So I look forward. If you do not say yes right now, maybe in future, I will be the one coaching you in the program. But I want you to understand that the price that you are going to pay after 30th of April will be more than what you are paying for right now. So if you still want it, understand that I've sent the emails to those who have registered under my link. You will have received the link to register. So make sure that you register for this special offer by 30th of April. All right, so with that, that's all for tonight's Facebook Live. And thank you for allowing me to start a bit late. I know, like not 9 o'clock, but 9:15. And this is because the Zoom is not working tonight for some reason. Let me check by searching around whether there's some I call it the cookies, or some crawlers, or whatever you call this in digital marketing world, that prevents Zoom to be streamed on Facebook. We will see. All right, so with that, that's it for tonight. I'll see you on our next Facebook Live, same time, same place. Of course, next Sunday, 9 p.m. GMT plus 8. So I'll announce the topic on Sunday morning my time. With that, thanks very much for watching, and I'm still very, very happy to see that there are still 2 people hanging out right now. For those who are watching replay, hashtag replay so that I know, and let me know one of the biggest takeaway you have for tonight's Facebook Live. All right, so with that, that's it for tonight. My name is Jack Wong. I hope our path crosses, either via another Facebook Live, or my videos on my YouTube channel, of course, on my social media platform. Okay, so with that, all good wishes and goodbye.